And then I remember after about an hour, Amy just said to me, "You're in an appointment with a client." I was like, what do I do? I was sort of a bit nervous, didn't really know what to expect.
Did you have anything to say in that first appointment?
I was a mute. Didn't say a word. I don't think I looked up at the client, and I can't remember what the client looks like because I was so glued to that notepad just writing stuff down.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Welcome to Finances, your home for all things financial, investment, money and lifestyle. Hosted and curated by the very talented team of certified financial planners at Burke Britton Financial Partners.
Well, this is the Finances podcast, and we're continuing a series of introducing the world to Burke Britton team members. Today's special guest is Daniel Herceg. Now, Daniel, you've coached me a couple of times on pronunciation of your surname. How did I go?
It wasn't bad.
Can you give it to me?
Herceg.
Herceg.
Yeah. So it's like the C is like a TS in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you got to roll the R.
Okay.
If you can try that.
All right. So if the clients that are ringing and they're asking for Daniel, if you could maybe listen back to this before you call the office, that'd be helpful.
Herceg's not bad. Herceg, yeah. So I've grown up with that. So
what is the origins of your surname, mate?
Croatia.
Yep.
So Croatian, both sides of the family. Grandparents all born overseas. Mum was born in Germany and then moved here in 86, I think it was. So, but speaks fluent English, no accent with her. So bit surprised by that, but she's done all right to get around.
And dad?
Dad born in Melbourne.
Okay.
So born in Footscray and then moved down here. I think he was 3 years old.
Okay. But dad Croatian as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems that the Croatian community sticks together, don't they?
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. I'm not sure. I think there wasn't many of us at the start. So everyone sort of between work and all that, everyone sort of stuck together. And then I guess they were hanging out all the time. So they just...
When you say there weren't many of you at the start, you mean as people migrated from Croatia?
Yeah, so
sort of the conflicts.
There was a massive immigration period from, I'd say, the 50s and 60s. So that was massive for people escaping overseas to come here and live a better life. So that's what my grandfather on my dad's side did, and my grandmother. They came. I think my grandfather came in 61, and he ended up out at Bonegilla, which was like it's probably 10 minutes away from Albury. I think Wodonga. So it's that was a massive.
You pointed that way, which is I think
Albury
and Wodonga is that way.
I'm not great with direction.
Yeah,
not great with that. I think the highway, yeah, probably that way. Yes, there was a massive migrant camp there. So when he came to Australia, he ended up just going there, and he was surrounded by his own people just to get a bit of a head start into Australia. And then when they finally found a job, he was able to come back started in Melbourne, and then he moved down to Geelong, found a farm out in Belmont.
Yeah, how big was the farm?
I couldn't tell you.
Like a big one, like an acre or 5 acres?
It might have been 2 acres roughly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'd have to ask him. It'd be a good question to ask him, but he was there until he found a nice spot in Bell Park with all the other Croatians.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, it's been a long process for me to get to here. So
yeah, I know you talk very fondly in the conversations we've had about family, and obviously the Croatian community, but just family in general. Talk to us a little bit about your family growing up for you. So that's obviously your grandparents and your parents. Where exactly did you grow up? We'll get to how you found your way into Burke Britton, but where did you grow up, mate?
So born in Geelong, raised in Geelong, grew up in Bell Park for the first part of my life.
Great area, Bell Park. Good football team too there.
Yeah, very good football team. Unfortunately, I never got to play footy. I wish I did, but never got to play it. But yeah, grew up in Bell Park. I think I was about 5 years old, moved out to Humlin Heights. So, I mean, only 5 minutes down the road, but still all relatively close. Lived there probably till I was 16, went back to Bell Park and pretty much been around that area ever since. So,
and where did you go to primary school?
Holy Family.
Okay, on Minerva Road? Or is it
Separation Street.
Seppo, okay, yep. And then high school?
St. Joey's. St. Joe's.
Okay, you didn't tell me that. Actually, did I know that? I wouldn't have hired you.
I feel like I've told you that. Yeah, went there. The whole high school, it's been a great experience. It was different, all boys school. I came from a primary school that had 300 people maximum. Went to a high school that had 350 kids in my cohort, say in my year level. So that was a bit of a culture shock trying to come into a bigger school, but yeah, it was good fun back then.
Did you have a sense at school, so high school at Joey's, about what you wanted to do when you grew up?
Not really. Like I always knew that I was always good at maths, always liked doing mathematics and like finances, that sort of stuff. Never really knew what career I wanted to do.
What's 9 times 9?
Oh, jeez, you put me on the fighting. 40, 81. We got there.
That wasn't on the script, mate. Sorry. Question without notice.
Yeah, please trust me. I'm a good
Remember I said
mathematician.
remember what did I tell you?
Everything's a test.
Everything's a test. Everything's a test. That's good.
Maybe cut that one out.
What's funny about that is that when people think about finance, they have a sense that you have to be good at maths. Like I was terrible at maths. Oh no, I was middle of the road at maths. I never excelled at mathematics. And I think the more, and you'd know this, we'll get to this when we talk about what financial planning's really like. It's kind of less about crunching of the numbers and it's much more about community and relationships and the people that you surround yourself with them. Sorry, mate, I threw you a curveball there.
That's all right. It's all good.
So yeah, at school, you excelled at maths.
I'd like to say I did. I just enjoyed doing maths. I found it came easier to me than other stuff like essay writing and I guess science and all that. So I always just preferred to do a bit of mathematics and ended up finding my way into a path where that does apply to my job. So I think it's a good strength to have, except for when you ask me a 9 times 9 question. But yeah, I think it's a good path to go down and I really enjoy it.
So let's go to year 12. So just to clarify that, when you finished, you're at school, we thought, okay, maths is kind of my jam. What was the decision about what you do after high school?
Well, funnily enough, I actually went down the opposite path and I thought I was really good at like talking, and I was told by my parents my whole life I know how to talk, like I won't stop talking. So I also didn't mind a bit of politics in a way. So I sort of went down a political path, like didn't really know what to do, but I just thought I wanted to try it out. So I went down that, figured out it definitely wasn't for me.
So you did a political science degree or you started?
Yeah. So I started doing a political degree and that I went for that probably for 2 to 3 years. Didn't finish it because I didn't really enjoy it. So then I ended up wanting to transfer, and Bachelor of Commerce I settled on, and I've loved it ever since. I think it was probably the greatest decision I made because it's led me to this path here where I'm really enjoying everything I'm doing. And I'm very happy that I didn't become a politician.
So you did 3 years of a political science degree and then axed it. Okay. I don't think I knew that either.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it in the end. Just wasn't really enjoying it, and then chose to do commerce.
So when you did commerce, though, am I right? Like you still weren't, financial planning still wasn't on the radar, was it?
No, so I didn't know I wanted to do financial planning until I was looking for an internship because I wanted to develop my skills. I was also part of my course as well to go out into the world and experience it a bit more. So I was sort of just I was majoring in finance at the time. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in that. I knew I wanted to be in the financial world, just didn't know what type of finance.
Did the uni give you some direction or indication of what, if your degree in finance would allow you to, what sort of positions it would give you?
Yeah, there was different areas. I could have gone into potentially like banking or something like that. But ultimately, I just sort of looked up like different areas of finance just to get an idea, and then what was in Geelong, what was in Melbourne for internship ideas. And I came across financial planning, and I found it interesting because like growing up, if you had mentioned financial planning to me, it was always like, it's an investment thing or something like that, which I have a feeling that could be like a common thing that people think about when it comes to financial planning, but it's much more than that. And that's when I started to look into it more, I realized it's much more. And that's what I really enjoyed because I didn't like it to be limited to one area. I wanted to be able to, and on top of that, like I said, I love talking to people and I love conversing.
Noticed that.
Yeah. And through that, I think when I came here and learning about building relationships and how integral and important it is and how much we value it as a business, I think I really ultimately love that stuff. So then I came across Burke Britton on just a couple of searches.
Hang on, let me get this story right too, that you went through multiple financial planning practices. You looked at like hundreds. You called like, probably 30 or 40, and we were the best out of that bunch. Is that right?
Well, of course, right. Of course, that's exactly right.
So what actually happened?
So I did a Google search of just financial planners in Geelong and Melbourne, and I went through a few of them, and ultimately I found that the values on Burke Britton and what you guys offered in terms of how we can support clients. I found that to be really good. And then all it took was an email for me to send to Amy. And
How many emails did you send?
I probably sent 3 or 4. And a few of them got back to me, but ultimately I wanted to go with Burke Britton, so I chose that one.
And what happened? Because I actually remember the call.
Yeah, so I remember being at home and Amy had organised for us to have a call. I think you were on the way back from Shepparton. And
Great.
yeah, I was a bit scared, a bit nervous, like first professional job sort of with uni or outside of uni. But it was great, just having a chat to all of you. You all seemed lovely and welcoming, and very excited for me to potentially get a head start in financial
One
planning.
of the things I could tell in that conversation, I knew you were nervous, right? And like I said, everything's a test, but I was impressed at how upfront you were with going out of, I suppose, your comfort zone to make a call and have a conversation and answer questions, because we drilled a few questions into you in that 20 or 30 minute conversation. So, and again, it's interesting knowing you now, having known you for 6 months or more, that the conversation we had, the values that you kind of, like, everyone's good in their first conversation talking about values and ethics and what drives them, but it's clear from my experience and the conversations I've had with you that family is pretty important to you, and they're pretty important values here with our clients as well. So I think it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think so too.
So let's talk a bit about your role. So we had that phone call with you, ended up giving you an internship. Is that what we call it?
Yeah, internship.
An internship. So you did an internship with us. We've subsequently employed you full-time. Are you full-time at the moment?
Yeah, 4 days a week, just while I'm finishing this last bit of my degree. But as soon as the exams are done in October, I'll be 5 days a week.
Okay.
Full-time.
So let's talk about what you thought it would be like, and what has actually been like in your first 6 months here. So tell us a little bit about your first experiences and the highlights and lowlights, maybe, if you want to, about your experience in Burke Britton financial planning and looking after our clients.
I think the first day that I remember, the first day I came in for the internship in particular, I didn't really know what to expect, like what I'd be doing. And I remember after about an hour, Amy just said to me, "You're in an appointment with a client. You and Delta, go in." And I was like, "Okay, what do I do?" What do I do? I was sort of a bit nervous, didn't really know what to expect. But I was just shocked by like how in-depth the strategy was, and how in-depth we go into not just caring about their finances, just caring about their life, like whether it's wills, powers of attorney, everything like that really struck me as how much we actually care about their situation.
Did you have anything to say in that first appointment?
I was a mute. Didn't say a word. I just sat there. I don't even...
Did you take notes?
I was taking notes. I've got a full, I reckon, 2 pages from that, just because I don't think I looked up at the client, and I can't remember what the client looks like because I was so glued to that notepad just writing stuff down. But no, it's been a great experience for the last 6 months. It's gone really quickly as well. I can't believe how quick it's gone, but really loved it. Expectations wise, it's been great. Like every day there's something different. Nothing's been repetitive. It's been a great way. I've been able to communicate with clients, which I love doing. I love talking to people. I love building those relationships. So yeah, really love the last 6 months.
What's been the most difficult part of the first 6 months?
Probably my own expectations of wanting to understand everything, but sometimes I won't be able to. I put the expectation that I should know this. I want to know this. Sometimes I just got to accept I don't know this, ask the question, find out, then I know, then continue. So I think that's probably been the toughest part. Just
what's one of the things that we've encouraged you to do before you ask the question about something you're not sure about?
Just try and find it and get an answer, and then come back with the answer. If you have a question, it's better to come up with a solution. And if the solution doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you've come up with a solution. And at least that way we can sort of move forward and get some feedback on that solution.
Yeah, perfect. And it is, we talk a little bit about, and you've been here for 6 months, and I think about how much from putting you in an appointment your first day, when you didn't know what the hell you were doing, and how much responsibility we've kind of gradually built that load of responsibility on you. And I think you can probably tell that that's for a reason. And there's a reason that we want good people to take responsibility and ownership in their role, because it helps the broader picture. It helps the broader picture for the business, helps the broader business for the clients, and importantly, it helps you build your character, but also your knowledge and understanding. If you are continually told the answer for things, it's not as great a learning as if you've actually had to experience it yourself. And like I said, everything's a test. And I think to this point, mate, 6 months in, you passed the test.
Thank you.
They're not going to stop coming. So
Yeah. And I welcome them.
great. So 6 months in, you talked about the challenges, how much you've enjoyed it. What's the next phase for you? What's it? I know we've talked about it, but what's it going to look like for you in terms of, I think you've made your decision that after doing a graduate program and experiencing what financial planning is, even in the short period of time, once you've completed your degree, you think financial planning is for you.
100%. I love it. And I'm so glad that it's taken me down this path, because I don't think I would have enjoyed anything else as much as I enjoy financial planning. So the next path for me would be a professional year. So it's a 12-month process split up into 4 quarters, so 3 months each. After the first 2 quarters, there would be a financial advisor exam, which I would have to complete, hoping to start that at the beginning of next year. So very exciting times coming ahead. It'll be good to push myself even more.
So for someone out there in a similar situation as you, or maybe a few years behind you, so someone who's doing a commerce degree, maybe they haven't decided what they want to do. They're thinking banking, they're thinking, I don't know, accounting, maybe they're majoring in accounting, that opportunity to actually major in financial planning. What would your advice to them be? Like, this is someone who's fresh, green, they didn't know anything. You've got on the ground experience now. What are you going to tell that person they should do?
Definitely assess your options in terms of when you've got a major. At the beginning, I was only majoring in finance. So I think definitely assessing what career pathways that major can get you so that you can get ahead as well. And definitely when it comes to financial planning, just actually sort of look into what it is. A lot of people don't know what financial planning is, so maybe they might overlook it when it comes to the major, but definitely look into it. And if you love talking to people, building relationships, if you love helping people in any way possible, not just with their finances, but just in life in general, this is definitely the right job for you. So definitely something like that. I'd recommend, honestly, in your first year, look into your majors a bit more and sort of set yourself up for the next couple of years, I guess, with uni.
I think I hope you don't mind me talking about, you had a couple of challenges with not organising your majors early in your degree and not thinking a little bit earlier, which can sort of delay the completion of degrees. But I think that's a really good point for anyone out there that's listening, and we've got a very good relationship with Deacon. Anyone that's contemplating financial planning as a career, think about it early. Like, have a listen to Daniel. Daniel, I promise you, if you rang the office and you wanted to pick Daniel's brain about his experience, he would do that, wouldn't you, Daniel?
Definitely, 100%. I'd love to help anyone in any way to not make the same decisions I made at the start. To be able to get that head start, it's definitely worth it.
And I think we have had work experience students. We had Oliver here just last week, who spent, I think, was it a week or two with us?
I think 2 weeks, yeah.
So, and Oliver he's in year 11, I think, deciding what he's going to do and where he's going to graduate. So what he's going to do after he graduates. I think the earlier on in the piece, people can start to think about financial planning, financial services as a career. I think the better off you'll be. So anyone out there listening to this, if you're interested in financial services, financial planning as a career, call us, speak to us, and we're more than happy to lend you our thoughts and experience, and do a internship, do a hopefully a professional year like you're doing. Righto, let's fast forward a little bit to more broadly what the long term, outside of financial planning, what's going on in your life?
Obviously, just getting to the end of this degree now, be able to finish that and then get into professional year. But besides that, just living at home with my parents.
Well, I was kind of touching on Bridie and yourself in here have talked to us about setting up what we call a Young Minds podcast, where you start to think about all the questions, not only not necessarily financial advisors of your or graduates of your age, But people of your age, what are the sort of the financial questions that are presented to you? And Bridie and yourself sent the advisors in the last couple of days a list of all the topics that you would love to talk about. And what I found really interesting about it was that they were not topics that I would have thought about. Like some of them were like buying your first home, cash flow management, but what are the things that you start to think about? So maybe this is a bit of a teaser for the Young Minds podcast that Bridie and yourself are going to be doing in the near future. What are some of the things that just you personally, Daniel, think about in terms of managing your finances over the course of the next 10 years?
Well, I think one of the things is, like, obviously when you're getting into, how much do you need for a deposit? I think that's probably the biggest question. How much should I save? Even just budgeting. Like, I remember when I was 18, there was no such thing as a budget for me. Whatever I earned, you're going out and having a few drinks with the boys, whatever. You're just happy, But now that I get that little bit older, I think budgeting is a massive thing that people should think about. But the most important part about budgeting for me has always been, doesn't mean you can't have fun. Doesn't mean you have to put your personal life at a halt. It just means you have to be just a bit disciplined with it. So that was one thing I think that that's important as well. I think investing in superannuation, people like myself, I didn't know that you could invest within super prior to starting here. And even now, like my super has been invested for the last however many years I've been working, but I never even knew that. On top of that, just insurances in super too. Again, just didn't know that sort of stuff. So there's so many.
We need to have a chat with the uni about what they're teaching in their degrees, don't we, to make sure that they're.
I think genuinely for me, it's you can learn as much theory as you want, but until you experience it in real life and you put it into practice, that's when you really learn.
What's interesting about what you just said is that you've done a commerce degree, you've majored in financial planning, and there's still gaps in your knowledge. How old are you now, Daniel?
23.
Yep. As a 23-year-old, there's a bunch of gaps that we just don't teach kids. We don't teach them in primary school. We don't teach them in high school. We don't teach them how to manage money. We don't teach them about debt. We don't teach them about cash flow management. And one of and hopefully you've noticed this in our interactions with our clients, is that we're very focused on looking after the family group. And that family group includes everyone, which I think go back to your desire to be part of family and have a really strong connection with family yourself, is that as a business, we want to look after grandparents, we want to look after parents, and we want to look after kids. And we want to make sure that every generation has a really clear, has all the information they need to make good decisions. And like for you guys as 23-year-olds, how do we make sure that Daniel, as he's progressing in his career, and Daniel could be anyone, as an avatar for anyone, how does Daniel make sure that he makes the most effective use of his income and his assets, and he knows how much he's going to need for a deposit on his home when he moves and when mum and dad kick him out of home? When you start to think about, building a family and investing for the future, how do we arm you or any other 23-year-old with the tools so they can make really good decisions? Because I think it's important. As a father of 5 young kids, I don't know that I've done a perfect job of educating them around finances, but I'm striving to make sure that they've got all the tools that allow them to make good decisions and not be financial delinquents.
That's all you can do. You can give them all the tools as well, but it's up to them too to get involved. And the more tools you give them, the better they are off. So,
well, that's another good point, that the financial planning relationship too is a two-way street, isn't it? Like you would see this, that it's not just us dictating to clients, here's what you have to do, go and do it, and they're obedient. It's actually a two-way street. Like they're a contributor to it's a little bit like your role here in the business. Like if you just tell people what to do, they don't really learn anything. If you show them what they can do and they go and do that themselves, or they're part of the process, they've got much more ownership over it. And you want to give people ownership and control over their own sort of financial situation.
I think the most important part is just understanding the why, both as a worker, as an employee, and as a client. If we can, as a business, effectively explain to the client why we're suggesting an idea, then they'll be more inclined to understand it and act on it as well.
Have you seen any examples of us explaining the why to clients that come to mind? I know it's another question without notice, but an example, don't name any client names, but just things where it surprised you, where you hadn't thought about the why of a particular strategy or what an advisor was suggesting to do.
Definitely. I think as an example, contributions to super. So making concessional contributions, you can do up to the cap. Some people, or most people, probably don't get up to the cap of their 30,000 a year that it is now. But I think one of the things that people don't understand is, so I've just gone blank.
That's all right. It's all good. I mean,
I'll redo that part.
No, the good example, because the concessional contributions, like a lot of people don't know how super works. They just don't. And so they don't actually correlate putting a little bit of their income into something that will benefit them in the long term. They don't have that picture of what we're trying to achieve at the end. Like the why is, like when you say, why would you put money into super? Why would you sacrifice today so that you could have something in the future? If you don't explain what that something in the future is, and so what we try to do is make sure that we work out with clients with their cash flow. We say, work out how much you're going to need. When we know how much they're going to need, we can quantify how much income they're going to need. We can quantify how much they need invested. And then you can work back from that.
Yeah.
And then you can so if you want to have this lifestyle at age 65, this is what you need to put into super. If you don't do the why, your example's perfect. Like if you don't give people the why and you say, I need you to take $10,000 of your salary and put it into super. They go, what for? Yeah. What's the purpose? Well, we haven't explained the tax benefits. We haven't explained the compounding benefits. We haven't explained the retirement benefits. So the why is very important.
Yeah. It just came back to me as well, if you want me to.
Yeah, go.
Well, the most important part for me about people understanding the why when it comes to super is that you get a tax deduction as well when you put the money in. So on top of that, you get the extra money in the actual account in super, which you get at age 65. But on top of that, you get a tax deduction, which gets money back into your pocket. And it doesn't mean anything less has gone into your super. You've got that already, but you get that tax deduction back into your bank.
Yeah, and we've done a bad job because as financial advisors, it's kind of, we know that. But the challenge is to communicate that, is to explain it in a way that clients understand when you're in here with a client, and explain the story. Because again, a lot of what we do is storytelling. It's much less about like crunching. How many times have you seen me with a calculator in the?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
No. And if I do need something calculated, I ask you to calculate it anyway.
And I'll use the calculator.
Yeah. But yeah, we're telling people stories about and connecting the dots between what we're recommending they do and the why. That's why I think you'll be a great financial advisor, mate, because you are, you might not know what 9 times 9 is, but
that's just on the spot pressure.
I know. But you're a good communicator. You care about the clients, you care about people, you care about family, and all those are great attributes that will hold you in good stead in here for a long time. Now, you probably thought we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We're coming up nearly half an hour of chatting. Is there anything else you want to close on? Any other thoughts about your role? I know you've got some notes here, mate. You said we weren't going to refer to the notes, but I'm going to let you.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look.
What did you want to close on? You haven't said anything nice about me yet, or anyone else in the business, so that was a bit disappointing.
I said the team was very welcoming.
That's pretty broad, Amy's going to listen to this, mate.
No, honestly, it's been a great experience here. No question's been a stupid question by me, which is a really good feeling to have. Sometimes you might enter a professional environment where
there is an extension to that phrase, that there's no stupid question. Do you know what it is? It is, if you ask it 3 times, it is. So it's no stupid question unless you ask the same question 3 times. Then it might be stupid.
Yeah, as long as you pick it up after the first.
I haven't heard you ask the same question 3 times.
That's a good thing. I'll just Google it the second time. But no, it's been great experience, really welcoming. Like Jay said as well, like you said, I value family, and when you come into this environment, it does feel like a family. Everyone's great with each other. Everyone's welcoming. Everyone's friendly. No egos in the team as well. Everyone checks their own ego as the extreme ownership
Yeah,
book
good.
as well.
Well done. Nice little.
But it's honestly just been a great experience. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love the team. So
Cool. Well, I think that's it, mate. I'm sure we'll do a few more rounds of podcasts with you as people get to know you, clients get to know you, and as you start to get more experience in the world of financial planning and financial services. So it's been awesome having you on the podcast. It's been awesome having you in the team for the last 6 months, and I'm excited for you, mate. So
thanks,
we'll
Jane.
close
Appreciate
that
it.
there.
Looking forward to it.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're keen to understand more about how financial advice could benefit you, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Burke Britton FP, or Google Burke Britton Financial Partners. Check out our client reviews, testimonials, and make a time to meet one of our certified financial planners by clicking Book Now on our website. Thanks for listening.
Any information contained in this podcast is of a general nature only. No account was taken as to the objectives, financial situation, or needs of any particular person. Therefore, before making any decision, listeners should consider the appropriateness of any information with regard to their particular objective, financial situation, needs, and seek independent advice from a licensed professional specific to their circumstances.
All right, hit it.
That translates to don't be a moron and act on what some random person says on a podcast. Take personal responsibility, do your homework, ask questions, and speak to an actual human that knows what they're talking about before you do anything. PB Financial Solutions Proprietary Limited, trading as Burke Britton Financial Partners, are authorised representatives of AMP Financial Planning Limited, AFS, licence number 232706.